Appreciate you hitting the button. Welcome to the How to Hustle podcast with Hype. This is episode 61. You follow me on Instagram and Twitter at I am Hype. That's HYMPE. It's Hype. It's not Hype. I'm not geeked up. Second appearance from my man, special guest in the building. Introduce yourself to the audience.
What's going on, good people? It's your boy Smooth from the GFT Radio Network. GFT Radio Show every Monday at 10 p.m. You feel me? And we back again for another dope episode.
It's funny enough that every week when we do the Monday episodes, we always seem to refer back to the episode that me and you did, and it don't be planned out or nothing. You know what I'm saying? It was just a good episode. But you know what I'm saying? Shouts out to the GFT family. But while we're there, you know what I'm saying, every Tuesday, 2 p.m. on the GFT Radio Network. My bad, every Monday on the E Block Radio Network at 2 p.m. We also, like I said, we're working on a Wednesday slot. We have a new Wednesday slot. Shouts out to 216 The Blend. We're there now at 8 p.m., 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Thursdays is WTNUphilly.com, 12:30s. Fridays, I Say Podcast Radio Network, 10 a.m. Saturdays, the THC Media at 10 a.m. Sunday, we still looking to fill in that slot. Also, Custom Hustle. Custom Hustle is my clothing line. You get the Custom Hustle World on Instagram, Custom Hustle Co. on Twitter, custom sweatsuits, t-shirts, jackets, the jerseys. You know what I'm saying? Pretty much if you want it customized, we can make it happen. Shouts out to the baby jackets. It's got a couple of baby jackets I did last week too.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a baby jersey. All these things, you know what I'm saying, will be posted. I got a baby's jersey coming soon.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
Also, H2H Cleaning at H2H Cleaning on Instagram. That's my cleaning company. You know what I'm saying? You need roofing, HVAC, plumbing, carpets, however you need it. If you need it, hit me and we can make it happen. That's at H2H Cleaning on Instagram. Also, cleanups and cleanouts. All right, here we go. Episode 61. Smooth.
Yes, sir.
The relationship with your daughter has taught you, or how has the relationship, let's scratch that one. How has the relationship with your daughter changed you?
Oh man, number one, compassion, and patience. Them the top two. Like always, I never envisioned having a daughter first. I just always had my mindset. My first child was going to be a son. And
preach, brother. Had his name picked out and everything.
Word up. And I had a plan. You know, that's why they say the best laid plans go astray. I had a plan for how I was going to raise my son, how to discipline, how I was going to discipline him, and everything. So soon, you know, at the sonogram, when we went there and found out we was having a girl, right then, like, you know, it was like, oh man. You feel me? So all them plans just got thrown out the window. And I know I'm not going to be disciplining my daughter like how I plan to discipline my son.
Now you're a fish out of water. Yeah.
Exactly. So right then and there, that's where that relationship started. So my mind had to, my mindset had to change from that moment. And from the moment she got here, I've noticed, you know, at first I was kind of like, man, I'm way more sensitive now. Like it was like as immediate, like, but I noticed it wasn't more so sensitive. It was like, all right, I got to be more compassionate. I got to watch my tongue, because she's very, what I say, I don't like the word sensitive, but she's very empathetic, emotional. Yeah, so she feels a lot, and so when I talk to her, I got to talk to her a certain way. And for me, that was hard. It was really hard to communicate at first. So I had to read up on it, bro. I had to talk to different people. And it's still like a work in progress for me, because certain things, it's like, I really just want to be like, get over it, you know, but like, you can't do that, little, you know what I mean? You can't do that with a little girl. It's just, you can't really do that with little boys neither, but it's even worse for me, in my opinion, because I got younger sisters too. So I tried to, and that was my relationship with my younger sisters are different than my brothers. You know, I got 4 sisters, 4 brothers. I'm the oldest. You know, we discussed that last time. So with my brothers, I was a little bit more disciplined, hardcore. You feel me? With my sisters, I was a little bit more communicated. But you know, like it says, nothing like having your own. So when you have your own, it amplifies that to the like 10th degree. You know, so you know, it's way more heart to hearts. You know, I have to be more patient, bro. Like that's the key. That's the key for me with her. I have to be patient with her feelings. I gotta understand. I can't make her feel how I wanted to feel.
So that's the crazy part, like you said though, like all your thoughts about the whole situation got threw off once it wasn't a boy, because yeah, you got to go about those things differently, and you had your whole mindset set on it. Regardless, to the thing that none of us ever want to admit is that first child, that first couple of months, we're terrible because we don't know what we don't know.
True.
And I was there too. Uh, we go to the ultrasound, and my daughter wouldn't open her legs, so we didn't even know what we was having until she came out. So in
Mm.
my head, this is a boy. You know what I'm saying? Like we are having a boy. When my wife got pregnant with my second daughter, we didn't even have girl names. Like they said it was a girl. I'm talking she's already out, born, and been alive for a day and still ain't have a name. Like when they start trying to do the paperwork, you're like, yo, y'all can't leave if y'all don't give her a name. It's like, but
I could
see,
dig it.
my situation was my brother had my niece when I was 17, and my niece was the first, as I'm the youngest. So my niece was the first, like, baby sneeze, babies like do this, they do that. Like I got all of that out with my niece, but just having her, it was like it got me to already the mindset of like protection, of like you said, you got to switch things up when you got a kid around. You can't just leave everything sitting around because you got a kid around. She gonna pick
Mm-hmm.
stuff up. She gonna put stuff in her mouth. She's gonna, like you say, you're gonna be a little more emotional. She's gonna cry because she can't talk and she can't explain what's really wrong or what's going on and all of that. I kind of got those bumps and bruises out with my niece because it was like I didn't have a clue that babies was doing all of this type of stuff because I was the baby.
Mm-hmm.
So uh after having her and like the way that I carried it with her, like people always tell you like, yeah, it's different when you had your own, but it's like I never looked at my niece any different than as my, like being my own child. Like
Mm-hmm.
the same way that I would sacrifice and do whatever I possibly can to take care of my kids, I would always have felt that same way about my niece. Uh, so once you did have them kids though, now the difference there being is they're never going anywhere. My
Mm-hmm.
niece would be like, yeah, we at my mom's, and yeah, she's here with me. Like even when me and my brother still lived at my mom's back then, she would sleep in my room. Like she wouldn't even
Mm-hmm.
sleep in there with him. She would crawl out of his door and come sleep in the room with me. So then now, once I fast forward to a couple of years later and had my own daughter, I got three things that like completely changed everything for me. Well, not four, excuse me. Uh, my daughter being born, my dad passing, and getting married. And then, of course, the one that we all got is the whole shutdown in 2020 situation.
Mm-hmm.
Reason why that changed everything is because my wife was pregnant when all of that happened. But that's an episode for go further down the road. But my daughter changed my perspective on just pretty much everything because it was like now it kind of got like this is what it's all about. You always hear people like search your whole life for like what's the meaning of life type of thing and what is the purpose and all of that we're here. Shouts out to the BTG podcast. We did that a couple of weeks ago. What was your purpose, or does everybody have one? Um,
Mm-hmm.
you go there, download that episode, and get your answer. Um, but she changed all of that for me. I never wanted to get married. I didn't want. I ain't gonna say I never wanted to get married. I didn't like looking at a family life and all of that. That was never in the cards for me back then because it was like, I think I was what, like 24, 25. My oldest daughter was born, and it was like I still got too much play in me. Once you had these
Mm-hmm.
kids, now you can't be playing no more. You can't do stuff like, we're gonna just blow $300 on whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna just go.
Exactly.
I'm not answering the phone today. My phone is on silent all day. Like I wouldn't wake up till 3 o'clock in the afternoon if I didn't have to go to work because ain't nobody looking for me. Like
Exactly.
I got all
About
the free
it,
time to do whatever I want in the world.
facts. That's another thing. You know, just having a child, period, all my decisions aren't just based on my needs and wants
Copy.
anymore. You feel me? So I had to consider her for everything. And then on like a personal note, you know, I could easily say like, I could sit here and lie and say I didn't have no misogynistic or patriarchal, however you want to put it, thoughts or ideologies. You know,
Absolutely.
even with having four sisters and you know, like we talked about my mom, how much I love my mom and the respect I have for my mom, but still as a man, like you carry that. So you carry still some of them same ideologies. So when I had my daughter and just, you know, just them nights just sitting there looking at her thinking, like some of that shit just had to, excuse my language, just had to get removed, bro. Like I can't, because if I sit here and say that I wanted her to be with a man like I was at that particular time before she was born, I'd be lying. You feel me? Like I'd rather her be with a man that's like how I am now. You feel me? Because some of those ideologies and just been stripped away. Like shoot, just this morning, bro, we was watching this new movie that came out, animated movie, Red Thing or Little Red something. It was basically about it was about an agent, a Canadian agent, Chinese Canadian family. The girl was 13 years old, and basically she was going through puberty. You feel me? It was just a metaphor for puberty.
Oh God, I ain't there yet.
Exactly. So even that alone, early on, I was thinking like, oh, she gonna go through them stages right there and there, and that's different
You
for
ain't gonna
them,
know how to ain't gonna know how to handle it.
bro. I that's something I'm just not, you know, anticipating. Well, I'm anticipating it, but I'm just not ready for it, even at this moment. But she wanted to watch that, and I could tell it was her way of talking to me, because she even asked me the question during the movie, like, are you that overprotective? Are you gonna be that overprotective? And I was like, nah, I can't, because I wanted to be like, man, nothing happening to my daughter. She ain't keep all these boys around me. Like I remember at the store one time, and a friend of mine that I grew up with, I ain't seen in a long time, he showed me pictures of his daughter, you know, and you know, just off the cuff, because I remember somebody said it to me too, like you better have that things ready. You feel me? And we know what we talking about when we talking about them things.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? And he chuckled, but he was like, nah. You feel me? He's like, because I got boys too. You feel me? And I feel the same way about my boys. And that's when I had came up with the slogan for the GFT, protect our boys just like we protect our girls. But at the time I had to learn what he was saying. It was like, you know, you got to treat her with the same level of respect or the same level of not freedom, but you got to let her have her. She gonna have her bumps and roads. You just can't
So here
overprotect
go.
them and keep them cooped up,
So
because that's how they're gonna rebel.
so here go the thing about that. Funny enough, you said that because I was listening to like one of the daily Coupon drinks. They were saying like we as men always will act like oh my God, somebody wants to marry my daughter, or somebody likes my daughter, or somebody's interested in my daughter, and it's like, I mean, that's what you want. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's what we're all here for. You like somebody's daughter, you got somebody's daughter pregnant, like you know what I'm saying?
Facts.
So me personally, I'm a very extremist. I have an extremist personality. That's why when I do anything, I go all the way with anything that I do. I don't know how to
Mm-hmm.
half do stuff. So you got to recognize. I always say honesty starts in the mirror. But you got to recognize these things in yourself, and you got to also understand that you can't attack every situation the same way. So I believe that everybody, as a father with daughters, has to got that like overprotective type of nature in them, especially when they little, especially when they
Mm-hmm.
little. Because when you look at them, like you said, you first get them and you get them in your hands and you're looking at them and you're like, man, I got to protect you from the world. I got to protect you from everything. But at that point, you do because they don't know how to do anything but breathe. So
Exactly.
you kind of have to still loosen those reins and allow those things that you instilled in them to work, whether it's either gonna work or it's not, and it ain't nothing that you can do about it. They're gonna ultimately make their own decisions. They're gonna ultimately go their own way. And if you force them too much into one way, if you hold them in the house too much, if you don't want to let them off the step too much, once they finally get off, you don't.
They
Somebody's daughter
going
has to be. Somebody's daughter has to be the hoe. You don't want it to be
yeah.
yours. But if you keep them cooped up all the time, they can't do this, can't do that. That's what's going to happen. Sad enough, it's going to happen. But like you just said, like I remember you was just talking about this. My man, shout out to Sai. My man Sai locked in every week. Um, Sai had a daughter when we was in like ninth grade,
Mm.
and Sai's daughter is like the sign of just how old we are. Every time I talk to Sai, how old is she now? Like, what's she doing now? Cause and she's like 20 or 19, I think he said.
Wow.
And it like just when we was 14, like I can't imagine what he was going through. Like, you know what I'm saying, having a child. Because
I
like I was
couldn't do
my daughter came and it was like it had to reevaluate my whole life. Like you said, the way you moving, the way you treating women and like all of that kind of like you start to look at yourself like, damn, like you know what I'm
it.
saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't want nobody to do this to my daughter. You know what I'm saying? If I
Fact.
found out my daughter was in this situation, I'm like you said, I'm coming I'm going in the trunk. Like so it makes it just it made me reevaluate everything. It made me change up everything because it's another thing where it's like yeah, you still, you know, whatever age it is, you still need your times to have it to yourself, your time to unwind, your time to take a deep breath, just close your eyes, sit and think. But my whole situation was somebody has to be the influence on her. Now it's on them and not just her.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody has to be the influence, and I would prefer that to be me versus anybody. Uh,
Fact.
I would imagine my wife would feel the same way that she would prefer that the influence be her too. Which copy, you know, that's you know what I'm saying. They her kids just as much as mine. But when I do certain things. Like I can remember so much about this is something we talked about on GFT. It was like we always think like, oh, the kids don't know because they little, because they this, because they that. But then you can go back into your mind and think about that grandma, aunt, or whomever that older relative was that made you feel so loved, protected, and all of that when you were
Mm-hmm.
5, 6, 7. And why do you think that they can't remember all of that? So
Exactly.
it was like I need to show this little girl how a woman should be treated, how to love how a woman should be loved, how she should be treated, what to accept, what not to accept. Because those things that you normalize, if you normalize chaos in her life, then she's going to grow up thinking that chaos is normal and chaos is what she should be looking for. If you
Mm-hmm.
grow up and some people though, also it's always the inverse. It's always the inverse to everything. Because it's like if you show them stability their whole life and they like, well, my cousin or my girlfriend or my friend always had chaos and that looks exciting. You know what I'm saying? Some people
Mm-hmm.
might just gravitate towards that. Some
Gravitate
people will
towards
say,
that.
man,
Yep.
all I ever had was chaos and all I ever wanted was shit to just be calm, just be cool, just to be relaxed. Like, and some people, you know, fly that way. But man, that little girl changed everything. Like,
I'm t- like for you remember I posted this on Twitter because it was just a true story. Uh, she tried to make a dating profile for me, like on a
oh
dating
yeah, I
app.
remember we talked about that. Yeah.
You feel me? And that was a microcosm of our relationship because she seemed like I don't bring a lot of women around her. That's the one thing that was major. It was like, all right, I just can't be out here, with this one, with that one, having a carousel of women just in and out of my house, because she
Hmm.
lived with me. You feel me? So if she just keeps seeing these random women coming in and out of my house, she gonna act, like we said, kids are much smarter than we give them credit for. We were kids. We were much smarter than our parents gave us credit for. So we know what's going on. And I don't want her to have that vision of me, just, oh, daddy out here with all these different types of women. So the women that always been around her, that I've dealt with since she's been here, has always had a certain type of uh it was different from the type of woman I dated before. And that's no disrespect to her mother, but it was just different. You feel me?
It's not no disrespect. It's just you be like, this is the conversation we having is you become a different person. You're looking for different things now because you're not the same person that you once were. People will always
Exactly.
try to hold that against you, but it's like, am I not allowed to grow or to, you know what I'm saying, expand? Maybe hell, I was wrong. You know what I'm saying? And I've just learned that something. I just learned that 2 + 2 wasn't 4. You know what I'm saying? Like, or not 4, but you get like,
Yeah.
I just learned that I was wrong. I could have grew up my whole life thinking the wrong thing and being shown the wrong
Exactly.
thing until I picked up a
Exactly.
book and learned myself. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's what it came down to, that she made me look in the mirror. You feel me? She really made me look in the mirror at myself. It's like, all right, I gotta be a better man all around.
All
You
around.
feel
I gotta
me?
be a better everything. Yeah.
Yeah. You feel me? And listen, I wanna go back. And here's another thing about overprotectiveness. Like, I got my daughter in karate right now, right? And one of the main reasons why I got her in karate is because she a girl, to be quite honest with you. Because I wanted her to learn self-defense. I wanted her, you know, like, my thought was like, she ain't about to have no man out here beating on her. You feel me? She's gonna know how to defend herself. And I say that because she's a girl. If I have a son, I'm not sure if I have him in karate. You feel me? I'm probably going to teach him how to fight, how I learned how to fight. You know what I
See,
mean?
two
Like how my
things here.
uncles used to beat me up or go hard to my body and stuff like that.
It's two things there. It's the difference in being a man and being a woman. That's why you always need to have a strong foundation there. Whether we're together or not, we gotta have a strong foundation because there's some things that I just can't help with. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Exactly.
I don't know what it's like to be a 6-year-old little girl. Only her mom would have that experience. So when she's
Exactly.
going through whatever, like you said, yeah, I can be as compassionate and try to be as empathetic and try to relate as much as I can, but I can't because I'm not that. And I can't
Mhm.
understand them shoes. I can't walk in them shoes. Like, they don't come in my size. So when you do those different things, it's just like when I'm one of those things, like you said, to try to protect yourself is to show her to get her into martial arts. Most people that just go straight to getting her a gun. And this is the thing about that is you got a gun, you got to be willing to shoot this person. Okay. Anybody could carry a gun, but everybody's not willing to shoot this person. Because if you pull it out and you freeze up, guess what they're going to do now? They're going to take it.
Exactly.
So it's more than one way to protect yourself, but everybody always goes straight to just get a gun, and it's like, yeah, but it take a lot for you to have that gun and to be willing to use that gun.
Exactly.
Because if you ain't willing to
Exactly.
use it, guess who just became the target? You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like,
Mm-hmm. And then what you gonna do if you can't get to it? Period. You feel me? So you like,
yeah,
that's the one thing I always thought. That's the first thing. Like, oh man, I got to teach her how to defend herself, because I'm not gonna be always. She can't always call dad. You feel me? I'm
some
not gonna be
situations you call me and it's like you need to go through that. So let
facts.
me know how it works out. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing
Facts.
wrong with a scraped arm. You know what I'm saying? I was telling my uncle yesterday, if you watching the video on, you know what I'm saying, the E Block Radio Network, my mom got sharp edge old school tables. I knocked the knuckle off both fingers, you know what I'm saying,
Mm-hmm.
playing football in the house with my brother. Sometimes you got to, you know what I'm saying, she told us to stop, we didn't listen. Sometimes you got to go through those bumps and bruises to understand and learn something. Um, Something you touched on though was that dating profile. This is one thing I wanted to jump in while we're turning the conversation to you now. Would you trust your daughter, you know what I'm saying, to make a evaluation of a woman who you brought around?
Would I trust her? Oh man.
Because I wouldn't. I didn't have these problems because I was already. I've never had the situation where like dating, I had to bring my daughter around it. But my daughter is too nice and gullible as all these situations will work. She would like everybody.
Absolutely. And that's my issue too. Like, my baby girl, she's a very loving individual. Uh, you know, she's not really gonna say nothing. I notice, and I've been for she has got attached to a particular woman before.
That's not a
And
good thing.
no, and it wasn't because as she was getting attached, I was trying to detach myself from that person. You know
Yeah,
what I
that's what I'm
mean?
saying. Ooh,
So I
ooh,
wouldn't,
that's a bad joint.
yeah, yeah. So I wouldn't say I wouldn't trust her. You feel me? Because it wasn't the particular woman I'm speaking about. She wasn't a bad woman. It's just that we wasn't right for each other.
Yeah, you don't
You
have to be
feel
a
me?
bad woman or a bad man for us not to fit each other.
Yeah. So I wouldn't allow her to dictate who I date necessarily, but I would consider her opinion if there's like an issue. You know what I mean? Like
Oh yeah,
always, because I'll
that's absolute right there. Now.
yeah. Outside of that, that's a good ass question. Outside of that, I don't think I would allow her to have because she's still a child at the end of the day. I won't allow her to have that much input on who I date because I still like who I like. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, my daughter's 9. She'll be 10 this year. She's known me for the last, let's say, 10 years. She don't know me my whole life. So she's still learning me. I know more about her than she knows about me. So she don't really know my taste, so to speak. I'm still got to break that. She's still learning me. So I really can't give her that much power over who I date. You know what I mean? But like I said, I can listen to her if that particular person makes her feel some type of way or throw some shade her way. That's what I will
See,
listen to.
see, smooth. This is why I'm saying this is why I rocks with you, smooth. You don't even understand that you just segued into episode 62, which will be out next week. You know what I'm saying? Which is should your child know the real you? You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Y'all stay tuned next week. We'll have those answers right there for you. You know what I'm saying? All right, so now this is what we need to dive into now is a little bit more smooth. My bad though too. I meant to say this too because as soon as you said that, it was damn, that was crazy. Uh, as long as the child doesn't feel uncomfortable, because like you said, as a kid, you can't take the perspective of the kid and run with it as the gospel. But as long as you're not telling me I feel uncomfortable when Miss such and such is around or doing or saying such and such, then all right, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I don't need to, really, I need to introduce you. I don't need to run it by you.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. Exactly.
the fans' perspective now. The fans' perspective is your show. I know we just made some recent changes to the fans' perspective. Talk to us a little bit about, you know what I'm saying, the thought process behind that and all.
My thought process, I've been trying to get my boys because we have a long history of just debating sports. Like one thing I can say about my little inner circle, the
Throw
ones who
them
y'all
names
see
out there
on
now.
my boy Kiss the Great, my boy Alex, and my boy Jeezy. We go back all the way back to high school. And the crazy part is
All we got to do is change Alex's name to Yo Gotti, and we got three of Haim's favorites right there.
word up, word up, word up. You know what I mean? I should call him Prodigy because he is a diehard Bob Deep fan. So I should call him Prodigy. But all three of us met independently from each other, but we all knew each other. You know what I mean? It's fun. But we always had these in-depth sports debates, and then we, like Kiss here, Duke fan, Al a Giants fan, I'm an Eagles fan,
Oh, he's pissed
James a
right now.
Giants fan. You feel me? And then we all like all sports, baseball, football, basketball. I love tennis. So we always had heated and lively debates on sports and issues surrounding sports. So I always used to say, and I'm gonna touch on this on our next show. I'm gonna bring this up. How I used to be like, man, we need to record it. Bro, I've been saying this for like 15 years. You're like, bro, we need to, and we do have certain footage. I do have footage of us trying to record our debates and having these discussions. We just never really put it together. So the fact we had a platform now, I might talk to him like, it's like, this is what we always talk about. We had a platform, let's do it. You feel? because it's so natural to us, you know. And I told them, once y'all get used to, because I think they still getting used to being on camera and understanding that people are going to watch. So I don't want them to feel like
a whole lot hard. A whole lot harder than it look.
it is. Word is spot, especially when you put on the spot and you got to answer a difficult question and you don't want to come off looking like a fool. You know what I mean? And private, you allow those mistakes. On
That's
camera,
the part that makes it different. Yeah, people gonna hold you accountable for the things that you say. Say, wait,
exactly.
hold up. You just said 3 weeks ago that you didn't like this kind of guy. Now you're saying he's your man. This doesn't, copy.
Yeah. So I felt like this was the perfect opportunity to bring them on. And as it continues, I know we're going to get better because we're going to get back into our natural state. And the only thing is different is the microphones and the camera. But once we get back in our natural state, it's going to take off.
So again, that's why this is just crazy. When I started in this podcast world, it was me and 3 of my friends, me and 3 of my brothers doing sports. Same conversations, yo. We've been talking about this forever on the block, in the house, playing the game, in the car, wherever. You know what I'm saying? Let's just record it. And like you said, everybody got opinions about what you're doing until they get in the hot seat of, now you got to be here and let's record it and let people critique the stuff that you're saying. Let people debunk it and go back at it. And now it's different. And like you said, you get used to the microphones, the cameras, and the criticism and all of that. All it does, for real, though, if you're treating it like, you know what I'm saying, something that you really want to do, something you want to turn into a business, which touch backs into, how to hustle seminars, which can still be purchased and still available. You know what I'm saying? Just DM me. I am hype on Instagram and Twitter. It's those things that it just becomes natural. Now we just back to sitting on the corner, sitting in the car, sitting in the house, having those discussions. And then once you get to the spot of comfortability, it makes the show flow so much more naturally. Once everybody ain't like, yeah, I really don't want to say the wrong thing. All you got to do to not say the wrong thing is come prepared. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
All you got to do is study and pay attention to the stuff that we're gonna talk about. Let's not come in and talk about last night's game when we know you was at the movies. And you didn't watch none of last night's game. Don't come up here talking about, he was struggling. Like, he had 47. You talking about that nigga was struggling? You talking about 2-3 games 3 weeks ago when he was struck. Like, that's the part that, you know what I'm saying, once you start to treat it like it's real, it becomes real.
Exactly. That's a poignant point right there. Once you start to treat it like it's real, it becomes real. And I just learned from, it's funny you say that, because when I first started this podcast thing, I had to learn early on, just through the topics, I gotta start doing research. I just can't be coming on here flapping my gums. You feel me? That's one of the reasons why, shout out to Willie. I love Willie so much doing this, because
huge shout out to my man Willie. You know what I'm saying? Don't give my man half drink. That's my guy right there.
Word up. Word up. I remember
Vacation
me and him,
fun Willie.
Word up. Word up. When we was on Blog Talk Radio, right? So I remember we was having a lively debate. It was over the Grammys. It was over the awards. And I'm like, man, just because a Black person winning an award, it's not a good look for us. You feel me? Like, I for years I hated that. All right, just because a Black person won something, because that Black person may not represent me. You feel me? That dude or woman may be the most Uncle Tom's of coonish of the coons. You feel me? I'm not celebrating. You feel me? No coon. You understand? At the time, though, I was so emotional about how I felt about it. I really couldn't formulate my thoughts properly. You feel me? And so when I was trying to, like, Willie was challenging my points. You feel me? And at the time, like, I never was get offended at somebody challenging my point or nothing. It's just that I realized in the moment I couldn't articulate what I really wanted to say well. You feel me? And that's when it came down to, and I was thinking while I'm doing it, in my mind, I'm like, don't get mad, improve your argument. You feel me? Don't get mad and prove your argument. And that's one thing I learned from this, and that I learned in that moment with Willie. I remember like Sonny, she was getting nervous on the phone because like when I tell you it got into a lively discussion, it was, you know what I mean? We was cutting each other off. Hold on, bro. Hold on. Nah, let me get off what I gotta say. We was doing that type of debate and going back and forth. It was never personal, but it was emotional. I was getting emotional, giving an emotional response because I couldn't formulate my thoughts properly. So that's one thing about this podcasting thing is that you got to learn to, I mean, like, don't act off emotion because you'll look foolish. just talking off emotion, you can't articulate yourself well. You look real foolish.
That's a life situation. Don't act off emotion because you'll end up making yourself look foolish.
True.
Before we wrap this one up, because you know podcast drops, we like to get them in and out. Something that you just had touched on, which was, it's one of them things I always say. I got no problem if we supporting black, promoting black, you know what I'm saying, holding us down, as long as it's quality. You cannot always be like pro black everything if it ain't a quality situation. I shouldn't accept less than because you're black. You shouldn't accept less than from me just because I'm black. We gotta hold each other accountable to a certain standard, you know what I'm saying, for, you know, shouts out to us for doing whatever it is that we're doing. You know what I'm saying? It's one of them things that I don't like, that people always just be like, yeah, well, they black, so let's support it. What is the message behind it? What are they doing with it? You know what I'm saying? How do they carry it? What do they do? Like you said, just because we all black don't mean that we all pushing the same way or into the same stuff. So don't just tie yourself into those situations just because we all happen to be black.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And like you was just saying about the situation with Willie, yeah, once you have to treat your podcast like a business was one of the, I think that might have been episode 2 of the seminars, which was like you saying, Willie is challenging you, and if you come in here with the surface level thoughts about whatever this topic is, and when somebody throws in one simple word to you that says why, how, and you cannot go any further, that means you're not prepared.
Exactly. Absolutely.
So let everybody know where to follow you at before we wrap this one up, Smooth.
Well, number one, y'all can catch me on Twitter all the damn time at eTrentonGroomy. You can catch me on Facebook under my name, Clinton Wilson. I'm back on Facebook. I was off Facebook for like 4.5 years. I'm on IG at King's Truth. And main reason why I got back on Facebook is to join our conversation group at GFT Radio. Join the conversation. We have great conversations on there. The group lively, I should say. So we have a lot of heated discussions in there too. So definitely hop on there, come holler at us. And my blog site, kingstruth.com. Hit me up. I'm post at least 2 to 3 posts every week is my goal. Also, I'm about to get back to my interviews. I got a lot of interviews coming up on there as well. So shout out to Hank for having me on here. I appreciate you, my brother, once again.
No doubt. That was episode 61, y'all. We are out.